Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the one and only Kin Lok.
Hi.
Jason Kin Lok. How's it going, man?
It's really well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, bro. Not too bad. How do you feel about being the first interview in the studio?
I feel very honoured, and I've been dying to do something with you.
Well, so Kin. Well, I always call you Kin, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
But your English name's Jason.
Yeah, that's right.
And I thought this would be a good interview to help any international students who are thinking about coming to not just this university but any. And I thought Jason could give us a bit of an insight into what it's like as an international student in England. So when did you first come to the UK, Jace?
So I came over, I think it was 2016, and funny enough, I was 16 at the time. So I came to do my GCSEs, then my A-levels, and finally I just decided to might as well stay for university.
Yeah.
So it's been like 6 years now I've been here.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, do you reckon that's been a good move for you?
Oh, it's definitely a good move. So, like, you know how, like, the inspirational people, they always say that, you know, you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I physically did that, you know.
You can't go much further.
Yeah. So I went to the other side of the planet.
Nice, yeah.
So, at first, everything was a shock. You know, the way people talk and stuff. I remember, like, quite vividly, because I never really had a big impression of how the UK was like. So like watching movies from back home, like you knew how the US was like, but you know, like maybe you watch like James Bond, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So when I got here, I went to a boarding school near Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
So when I arrived at Manchester Airport under the impression that, you know, people might just talk like James Bond or the Queen. But I was greeted with a Manny accent with the immigration officer. So
a little bit of a different accent.
Yeah. They didn't understand a word. I just nodded. I was so tired after the whole flight as well. So it was a bit of a shock.
It's 16 as well. That's a big thing to do.
Oh yeah, 16. Definitely. I definitely didn't realize the magnitude of the decision at the time, because I knew I was not happy being at home. Like I felt like I wasn't achieving anything too big, and I knew I needed a change. So I was like, right, you know, I don't care, let's go, you know.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, and as soon as I got here, I realised, you know, that was actually quite a big decision.
Yeah, it is. You should be proud of that.
Cheers.
So when you actually got here, what was it like then meeting like completely new people, starting from scratch basically, and like making friends that way?
So it was relatively difficult at first. So like I could talk English like just fine even when I was 16, but it wasn't like completely fluent like I am now. So I learned it in school, but I never like talk in it all the time.
Yeah.
So it was quite intimidating when I first arrived. And in school, the local students, they were not mean people, but they just weren't the most welcoming. They wouldn't like come over to you, be like, "Hi, I'm Alex," whatever, you know.
Yeah.
They won't say that to you. So I was the person who had to make the first move, and I knew that. Say like after 3 days I spent in the school, and then after a while I got a bit fed up of people not talking to me, because I only talk to the other Hong Kong students here.
Right.
And I thought, you know, I came to this country to like study English, you know, properly. So I thought I would make some English friends. And what I did was in the locker room in school, I just played some music and did a whole dance to my whole year. So by then everyone knew my name, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's how I met Holly.
Was that how you met Holly? Yeah.
So
that's mad. To be fair, yeah, that's the way to make friends.
Yeah, so you got to embarrass yourself a bit.
To be fair, though, no, it is kind of, you just let yourself be a bit vulnerable, and then that's how you get to trust people.
Yeah, I suppose it opened up myself quite a bit to everyone, and yeah, I'm very glad I did that, because if I didn't do it, I would be like lonely for a much longer time, I suppose.
Do you ever get homesick at all?
I don't think I did, like I said, because I kind of knew that would be a problem for me, so I just tried to make friends here, you know, to like kind of wash away the negative feelings. But I know quite a few friends in the boarding house, so like there are other people from Hong Kong, and I remember one of them was really, really not happy being here. Like he missed his family so much. Like fair enough, and
Yeah.
it's like he cried every once in a while, and he constantly the first few months constantly talked about how he should like just go back home. Like he wanted to give up, and we were all there for him. Like me and all the Hong Kong people.
It's understandable though.
Yeah,
moving that
definitely.
far away from home.
I can't imagine how difficult it was for him because he didn't do the dance thing, so like he never really like got to meet everyone until like much later.
Yeah.
So
That's what you gotta do. You move country, you have to do a dance.
exactly, you're gonna show your culture. Yeah.
Well, so you've been more fine with it moving away, not really missing home too much.
No, it was my decision as well.
True, yeah.
For some people, their parents make that decision for them because you know how the parents they know better, so they're like, oh, maybe it's better for my kids to study abroad. So when when you didn't make that decision, you tend to regret it, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more. I suppose it could be more like you've been forced into it. So it's like, oh well,
Yeah.
just being young. I mean, I'm still a bit like it now sometimes, but where it's like, oh yeah, if I've not done it, then don't know if it's 100% right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you've also managed to link moving across to England and like being from Hong Kong into your dissertation.
That's
haven't you?
right. Yeah.
So what have you been doing with that?
So at the end of second year, when we had to like start think about what we're gonna do for our dissertation, I always had a fascination on how like the previous Hong Kong generations, how did they manage to, set foot in the UK? How did they manage to stay here?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I would, kind of investigate that for my dissertation. So last year in like October and November, I started to get serious with it. So I went all the way down to Birmingham and Leicester and interviewed a few Hong Kong immigrants, and they kind of told me how they got all the way here, like what made them move whatsoever, and their lives here. And I thought they were quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I've been doing.
Oh yeah, you've been trekking for it, haven't you? Going all
Yeah.
down to Birmingham,
Yeah.
Leicester area. You've been committed to that.
That's right. It was quite funny because at least two of them I never met them before in my life.
Yeah.
So I knew them through like different connections. So like,
Yeah.
I actually like kept phoning random people, be like, oh, do you know any like people who lived in here for ages but they're from Hong Kong? And then there was this lady, like I never met her in my life, and I had to like phone her up, be like, "Hey, sir, are you okay with like meeting me, at this certain time and place?" It was like it was so awkward because
Sounds a bit sketchy.
yeah, exactly, and I didn't know how to like explain myself in the best way because
Yeah.
how can I talk kindly on the phone without sounding like a scam? Like
Yeah. Meet me at this place this time.
Yeah.
I won't rob you, don't worry.
yeah, bring your money in a packet.
Yeah. So then, obviously, that's about like the dissertation, and which is basically a big essay. Just in case you
A
don't
really
know.
big one.
a really big. It's only a bit small, but it's a really big essay. And so, in all other aspects of uni, have you had any struggles just in general?
In general, I think well, I thought when I first got here,
Getting romantic.
I thought I really thought I wouldn't struggle too much when I first came to uni because what I thought to myself was I've been on my own and managing myself for the past 4 years in the boarding school already.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be too hard to like get into self-discipline whatsoever. But then what hit me was uni was like a different ball game because I think the most annoying thing for me was that I have to cook for myself.
Right.
And it takes more time and energy than I initially anticipated, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really like bugged me a bit when I first came. But other than that, everything seemed to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Would you say the same
About me, are you?
about you?
Yeah. I'd say it's a similar thing of you moving out. Obviously, you moved out for the first time younger,
Yeah.
but for me, it was like I moved out just to a new place. I've just not got my parents there to rely on now.
Yeah.
So like, it's just like the sort of thing, you're having to cook on your own, you're having to do your own shopping, your own washing, and balance that with uni life and your studies, and then a social life on top of that, and meeting new people, and then you're just thrown into a random house with complete strangers. There's a lot of things, but yeah, I think we've all settled in quite well. Now we're in third year as well.
Yeah, we've done well. We've managed.
We're on the last run round now.
Yeah.
So do you have any recommendations or like tips for any other international students that would come over, not just to this uni, but to just uni in general?
Yeah. I would definitely say that you have to make some friends. Like,
By singing songs.
Yeah, and dancing. You know, throw yourself out there is the best way to say it. Because so like cultural differences is something quite hard to explain unless you're actually there.
Right.
So when I first came here, I didn't know one thing about England, like apart from James Bond. But it was really hard. So like I didn't know like Co-op was a supermarket. Like
Right. Okay.
when you said Co-op, I just thought it's a multiplayer game mode.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it didn't click to me like Co-op, Spa, all these things. So it was like after I met some friends and they'd be like, "Oh, do you want to go down to Co-op? You know, do you want to pop down to a shop?" And
you're like, "Oh, I didn't have my controller."
yeah, exactly. Like I did get my Xbox. So
Yeah.
but then that's how I learned these things slowly.
Yeah.
So like these culture things, they are really eye opening as well. So like that really makes my stay in the UK worthwhile.
Yeah.
If you put it that way. So definitely throw yourself out there and meet some friends. Like doesn't matter where they're from, right?
Yeah.
As long as you know you have some people like to rely on. You know,
Yeah,
they'll be there
supporting
around
each other.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's some good advice. Just go out and make fair. I think in a uni environment, it's quite good and it's quite easy to meet new people. You're kind of forced into it, really.
Yeah, I would say because it would be really difficult for you to get by as well if you're on your own in uni, don't you think? 'Cause
Yeah, definitely.
if you're on your own all the time, it gives a lot of moment for yourself to overthink stuff.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Especially with everything we've got on this year.
Oh yeah.
All the stress that's piled on just from being in third year. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. What's been your best moment at uni out of the 3 years that we've had?
3 years we've had.
Other than meeting me.
Of course. Oh shit. And now you've said me and you, because I always thought like how we met was actually one of the funniest thing. Like
what do you mean?
Funniest like experiences, because I just walked up to you after a lecture and be like, "Hey, I've seen your YouTube videos."
Yeah.
And, another example of throwing yourself out there.
Yeah, true.
But the best experiences were definitely going on night owls, really. Because it throws the stress away, and you feel like that if you have done it right, you know, if you done the night out right, the next day you feel like, you know, I've got enough energy to like, you know, get on with my life again. Because you know, eventually uni work or whatever problems you've got in your life like kind of wears you down.
Yeah, but you need that like release.
Yeah, after you get it all out, you'll be like, okay, I'm ready to, you know, go again.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think that's a good one. I think my days after are normally a bit of a wipeout, really hungover. But to be fair, we're here now after last night. So yeah, that was a very fun one. So overall, your experience since moving from Hong Kong to Leeds and then Hull, has it all been worth it for you to make that decision at 16 to then change your life completely?
Definitely worth it. To be honest, it was probably one of the proudest moments in my life. Like, I actually made that decision to get out and, you know, to explore how the world actually is like.
Yeah.
So, and I love the fact how that I've kind of experienced two different cultures, because I think it helps me a lot to think objectively as a person, because like, once you're in like one set culture, you'll be in the mindset, you know. And then if you're in two cultures where you've got two different mindsets and you can compare them, you know, whenever you want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely worthwhile.
We're bringing a lot to the table then.
True, eye-opening.
But yeah. So have you got like a take-home message for anyone that could be watching that's an international student hoping to come across?
Get out there sing if we want to and dance if we want to.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right, thanks for coming on, Jace.
It's alright, cheers.
Cheers, thanks.